Hello, everyone, and welcome to LandscapeToday.net Weekly U.S. Weather Outlook. Well, it's gotten very busy in the western United States, and that's where most of the weather is going to be in the west. But there will be some wet weather moving into the Midwest, Great Lakes, and areas of the Far East, looking at some unsettled weather, but still expected to be warmer than normal in the far eastern part of the United States as we look ahead. For the current jet stream pattern, this is what we see developing by Tuesday morning. A broad trough of low pressure in the Rockies, with this high pressure keeping temperatures very warm here in the southeast United States, while cold air just pours into the Rockies. Going to see some snow for Denver, for Casper, for Scotts Bluff. And then later, as the storm moves to the northeast, we'll see some snow for Minneapolis, St. Paul, for Green Bay, and then later on, we're going to see some lake effect snows spread into Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, as this system moves across and brings colder air over the Great Lakes. But this is the pattern we've had for the last week. The trough in the west, high pressure in the east. So cold here, warm here, and this trend will continue for a little bit longer. If we look ahead all the way to Christmas Eve, we see things changing a bit. The jet stream still is going to be pumping storms into the west coast. This storm here will get a little bit more penetration eastward into the south central United States, into the Great Lakes, and we do expect that this will get a bit of a bigger push east as we get beyond Christmas and into the new year. So most of the country by that time frame will see a jet pattern that's taking a little bit more of a further dip south and making the very warm east coast a little bit colder, but probably not until between Christmas and New Year. Let's take a look at precipitation for the next 7 days. This is cumulative precipitation, and we can see the Pacific Northwest just continues to get hammered by that very strong jet stream that's been nearly persistent for the last week. It's been good in terms of producing some great mountain snowpack in the Pacific Northwest, the northern and central Sierras. Also notice there is an extension of rain further down the west coast, and we think that this particular model, the U.S. GFS model, is too dry for central and southern California. We're expecting that rainfall amounts here are going to be heavier than forecast. As you can see, here's the current storm moving through the Rockies. This is going to be all snow. Boy, talk about great skiing, whether you're going to Snowbird in Utah, Aspen Vale or Breckenridge in Colorado, maybe Jackson Hole in Wyoming. Well, you're going to have some fabulous holiday skiing. Also, up here, this is going to be all snow as well. Minneapolis, St. Paul into Green Bay, probably Milwaukee. Be ready for some wintry weather there. Then lake effect snows along the coast of Michigan, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, Buffalo. You're going to finally see some winter weather. Now, most of this precipitation here is all liquid sunshine. It's going to be all rain while it continues to be very warm in the eastern half of the United States. So let's take a look at some of the highlights with our long-range outlook. These are the major trends we're watching. Snow, cold, Rockies and Plain States, as well as the upper Midwest. Above normal temperatures will continue in the east and southeast, but as you just saw in that graphic, there's going to be some rain with those warmer temperatures in the southeast United States. Continued wet and stormy. The Pacific Northwest will continue to get pounded. Now, longer term, into the new year, the Pacific Northwest should see the weather ease up and settle down a bit as the jet stream shifts south. Some lake effect snows for you folks in the Great Lakes. You folks who are used to the lake effect snows this time of year, get ready for them. More wet weather in the far west for Christmas week and into the New Year's weekend and beyond. Looks like El Nino is going to finally kick into gear for California. Central and Southern California and the desert Southwest looking a little more wet, as they should in the strong El Nino pattern that we have. Thanks for tuning in to LandscapeToday.net. We'll talk to you next week.